Hello my lovely friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Paige and today I want to tell you the books that I plan to read in February. These are just books that I chose that looks good to me right now. Who knows if I'll actually read any of them. I was pretty excited that I read most of my TBR for January. There was a couple that I did not read off of my TBR, but I did read most of them, and that's pretty unusual for me. I only usually read about half of my TBR because I'm such a huge mood reader. But I'm gonna do this a little differently today. Usually I pick an author and a trope out of my cups, but I'm not gonna pick the trope because I'm finding that I'm really not reading the books that I choose for that. So I am really wanting to work on my favorite authors backlist this year. So I'm going to choose 3. I have some of my favorite authors. I need to kind of update the names in this cup, but a pretty good selection of some of my favorite authors. And I'm going to choose 3 books for 3 authors out of this cup. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first one is Rowe, and the second one is Dixon, and the third one is Mariana Zapata. I went ahead and picked the 3 books by the 3 authors that I chose. The first one is Rowe, and I chose Bad Liar, which is the first book in the, I think it's the Reed Rivers trilogy. I think that's what it's called, but this follows the character Reed. We see him throughout the Morgan Brothers series, and I don't know what the series is called that follows the sister, Kat Morgan. But her in Josh's trilogy, you can see him a lot in there because he and Josh are kind of really good friends. So this follows his story, his romance story. I don't know much about it except that he is, of course, we know that he's like this manager for these famous artists, and he's a friend of Josh and Kat's, who is the sister in the Morgan family. So anyway, I have been wanting to read this trilogy for forever, so I'm going to go ahead and start it. And then the second one is Mariana Zapata, and I chose Wait For It. I believe this follows the friend from the heroine in Luna and the Lie, if I'm not mistaken, because she somehow has to adopt these children. I don't know if it's a friend or a family relative. I don't know the situation, but suddenly she has these children she has to take care of. So that's pretty much all I know about it. And then the last one is Dixon, and I chose the Corsair's Captive because I've really been interested in starting this series. I don't really know how many there are, but I need to start a new series by Dixon since I have finished all of the Ice Planet Barbarians, Ice Home, and Fire Blood Dragon. So anyway, I want to go ahead and start that series. And then these are just some other books that I put on my TBR that I'm hopefully will get around to reading. The next one is Headcase by Onley James. Of course, I have been obsessed with Onley James and her Necessary Evils series. This one is a new release and is the latest installment in the Necessary Evil series. This is one of the brothers of that family. A doctor has adopted these 7 boys, and they have grown up with him, and they are all psychopaths in some form, and they are serial killers. It's an awesome series, and I'm really excited to read the new one. And then I have The Reunion by Meghan Quinn. I read the prequel to this in January, and I'm really excited to read this next one because I just have to know how it ends. The prequel kind of was just a glimpse at kind of what happened to this couple, and he had slept with his ex-wife's best friend, And then he kind of, after that one night they had together, he kind of realized what he did, and then he just left. So she's really angry at him, and I think this is going to be enemies to lovers. So I'm kind of intrigued to see how all of that plays out. The next one is a book that I don't know why it's taken me so long to read this. Like, I wanted to read it as soon as it came out, but for some reason I've just been putting it off, probably because I just I don't want it to be over with. But this is Real by Kennedy Ryan. I know I still haven't read it. I'm terrible. But this, I don't really know much about it, except I think they're in Hollywood. I don't know. I don't know if they're if he's an actor or she's an actress. I'm not really sure. It's Kennedy Ryan. I really don't need to know what it is about. I'll read everything she writes. This book I've seen going around so much, and I've had it on my TBR forever. I've kind of been going back through my want to read on Goodreads because I just have so many books on there. And this one is one that I've been wanting to read for quite a while now, and this is Let Me Love You by Alexandria House. I do not know what this is about. I think the series revolves around brothers, a family, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I know this is very highly liked, and so hopefully we'll read it soon. I just read The Mistwalker by Regine Abel in January, and this follow-up book, which is The Nightmare, goes along with that story. So I think this is the sister of the heroine in the first book. I think this is her story, but I'm excited to read it because I did recently read The Mistwalker, so I am intrigued about the Nightmare. These are like demon-like creatures who, like, once a month the veil is opened and these supernatural creatures come through to Earth, and everybody locks themselves inside their house. So I think this creature is a creature of nightmares. So sounds really interesting and cool. The next one is Forbidden Desire by Robin Lovett. I recently picked up the second and the third book in the Planet of Desire. I think that's what the series is called. And there's one more book left in that series, which is Forbidden Desire. And I want to go ahead and finish that series. So this one is put on my TBR as well. And I have just really been into the alien romances lately. So I put Contagion by Milo on my TBR. This one I have had it on my TBR for such a long time. So I'm going to try to finally read it. I love the cover. It's so intriguing, and I don't know what it's about at all. I probably should be more prepared before I make these TBR videos, but I really don't need to know a lot about a book, so it is what it is. I have never read a book by this author, but this is Lillian Lark, and this is a new release by her, and I just saw it recommended by somebody on Facebook. And this is Deceived by the Gargoyles, and I'm so intrigued because I've never read a gargoyle romance. So I'm gonna give it a try. And I think Jen from the Book Refuge really likes Lillian Lark, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I put that on my TBR as well. And then the last book I have on my TBR is a new release by Martinez. It sounds so emotional, but so good. It is The Difference Between Somebody and Someone. This is the first book in a trilogy she is writing. The next one will be released in February, and then the last one will be released in March. This is about a guy who falls in love with a girl who was on the same plane that crashed that killed his I think maybe it was his fiance or girlfriend or wife. I don't know which one, but the girl he loved, she died on this plane crash. And then he meets and connects with a girl from the same plane crash. Sounds so intriguing, and I need to read it. So those are some books that I hopefully will read and get to in February. Let me know what you're planning to read in February, and let me know if you've read any of these books, and let me know what you think about them. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.